Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to next Industry 5.0 keynote speech and outline to you the development of Industry 5.0 in the years 2024 and 2025. My name is Michael Rada. I'm human, and I'm the founder of Industry 5.0. Before we start, let me ask you two questions. The first is who we are, because during our life we are collecting many titles. We are managers, presidents, chairmen, students. We are producers, teachers, fathers and mothers. With every single one, we forgot the most important one, that we are human beings. Living ones, not like this man on County Art of Pilsen Brewery. And if we do realize who we are, let me ask you the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities, like Roubaix in France, like Pilsen, and this is the building I'm speaking to you from, like Paris, Brussels. We live in beautiful cities which we fill with trash. We work in factories and businesses which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. We produce products which frequently, before reaching the end user, become trash as well, and we store them in big metal houses, calling for more to store more waste inside. And at the end of our shift, we leave next to the output of our production. And we arrive home, and maybe we realize that something what was called food before is called bio-waste today. And we look at the red sky above our heads, asking ourselves, where do we live? I will answer this question to you today and much more. But before I do so, let me tell you what is Industry 5.0. Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. In fact, it restores the broken connection between nature and human-made ecosystem. It's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, and it recognizes 5 types of waste: physical, social, urban, process, and the wasting of time. All of these waste can be prevented, and I do it since 2013 already. And because I am speaking to you at a conference in Bangladesh, let me outline with everyone what Bangladesh means, because it is the 8th most populated country in the world. At the same time, it is the 8th country with the highest density, population density in the world. They are priorities set up by the government and by the Prime Minister, who is the longest serving Prime Minister in the world. And this is to cure tuberculosis, improve digitalization, and decrease the volume of infant death. But these are not the only priorities. There is transportation, electricity, education. The influencers, same as in other parts of the world, influence the life of the Bangladeshis. The Twitter influencer with the highest number has 2.6 million followers. On TikTok, 12.6. The biggest exports make apparel and garments, and the biggest countries and partners is USA, Germany, Spain, and UK. And very few people know that Bangladesh at the same time is the home of the world's largest refugee camp, which for more than 30 years already hosts almost 1 million refugees, Rohingya refugees. The GDP of Bangladesh in 2023 is predicted to be 446 billion US dollars. This table shows the 50 most valuable companies in the world, with turnover counted together reaching 15 trillion US dollars. In 2019, we have been asked to present for the first time what is the value of global systematic waste prevention, the value of Industry 5.0. In 2019, it was 475 trillion US dollars. But this number is no more valid, because in 2022, it grew as the first time in a history over 1 quadrillion. What is needed to reach this number? Every single country can do, because it is needed to invest just $1 per citizen per year in a duration of 10 years. What is the existing reality? I was born on December 24th, 1971. At the time, our planet was called Blue Marble. But in 2019, the planet was not blue anymore. It was covered with environmental damage so strong that the blue face of the planet almost disappeared. But then something very strange happened in 2020. The blue face started to show up again. Not because we changed intentionally our behavior, but because a virus locked us down. We have been able to create in just a few decades on our orbit a landfill with more than 170 million pieces of space debris. This is not my number. This number has calculated NASA, the US space agency. And if we have created a landfill on our orbit, what do we do to our planet? We dig inside, because the only criteria of success is more money, more companies, more power, more influence, more cars. More is the only criteria. Ask Fortune 500 members how they get to the ladder. Ask Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Ask the people who met recently at COP. They call themselves the world leaders. We are living on a planet together with 8 billion people, not knowing that 200 years ago it was just 1 billion, and 100 years later 1.5, which means in current century we have 5-fold the human population on a planet, and in 2050 there should be more than 11 billion people living on the same planet. And just now, please remember the last image I showed you. We are living here in 206 countries according to UN 193. We are speaking 7,000 languages, riding 1 billion cars. And at the same time, we let every year 9 million people die hungry, despite the fact that every single day more than 23 million metric tons of food and crop is being wasted. We let 800,000 people die thirsty every year, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry is consuming every single day more than 347 million liters of drinking water. We plant our food to throw it away because the leaves, which we do not eat, are not green enough for the buyer in a chain store. We put our overproduction into the rivers and in the landfills not to spoil the market price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and single hamburger, and we do it on a planet on which one sip of water can save the life not of one, but of two humans. We are working in factories which store their obsolete packaging in the parking lots for employees, waiting till it becomes waste. We work in businesses which has the walls lined with environmental certificates, and behind the walls the same companies creating a landfill. We waste products which are not perfect for one, but can serve hundreds and thousands of others. And we do it under the supervision of the World Bank, which says that till 2050, the waste volumes in the world will be growing, in some destination even double. In the same report is stated that almost everything can be reused or repurposed, but in fact, according to the next chart in the report, only 13.6% is really being reused. This is what made the waste industry the third most profitable industry in the world, following the war industry and the crude oil industry. We can speak about steel industry, which is present in Bangladesh as well. It is one of the largest environmental polluters. It is high energy demand production, and you need to consume carbon in a form of coal or later electricity. But you produce carbon emissions, and not only them. A lot of dust is being produced as well. So it is one of the largest waste emitters. The BSRM steel mills in Bangladesh are one of the players, and the company can, thanks to Industry 5.0 principles implementation, not be only the polluter, but it can become the biggest in the country energy and heat provider, helping many to grow. So it is not needed to build a new power station. We have made in the history a big mistake because we have believed that pyramids are the future. One of those has been the waste pyramid. But we did not realize that the pyramids has not been built for the living ones, but to store corpses inside. When I realized this back in 2010, I started to build another groundstone, a groundstone which will be stable, will help us to build the future on it, even if the ground will be shaking. And how does it work? Firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste. And trust me, that's not an easy task, not at all. But the second one is even harder, because you have to reconsider what you will do with the item which you just saved. And you will probably fail for the first second, third time. But when you succeed, you will start to change the world and the future. You may ask yourself, what does it have? What is the connection to Bangladesh and to our goals? One of the goals was power distribution. So there is a lot of power towers in Bangladesh, delivering the power from the place where it's being produced to the places where it's being consumed. And have you ever considered that the power towers serve just one and only function? To carry the wires? I did. And at the same time, I realized there exist horizontal wind turbines, which are being produced to produce electricity locally. So why not to combine those and produce more electricity on the go without the need of building new power stations? Industry 5.0 transformation is necessary. This is why it is needed to understand what are the strengths of the country or the business or the organization. And for Bangladesh, Bangladesh has very rich experience in new production for a low price, unfortunately, which has a negative impact on the country economy. So what about use the on-the-ground mines better? What about to become a leader in sustainable development? Upcycling and reuse, so as repurposing, can be offered in the skilled hands of Bangladesh people and businesses as international service, IT, telecommunication, garments, apparel, shoes, medical supplies, so much and so many can be repurposed. So as the relationship, including the business relationship with neighboring countries, which almost does not exist at the moment. And to do all of that, there is a need to improve the education system and integrate the Industry 5.0 from the very early age through the entire education system. I have spent 8 years to write a document which never exists in a human history. It's called the Waste Prevention Framework. You may ask why it does not exist. Because not a single generation which lived here before was wasting so much. So how the policy looks like? Nothing that can be used or utilized again must become waste. Everything must be considered as a primary pre-waste existing resource and remains in the system. The secondary use or utilization must not be limited to a primary function of the product or material and can be executed by everyone respecting the rules and safety regulations and conditions. Collecting, sorting, baling, and trade are not being considered anymore as secondary utilization, and even not utilized on a primary location. It must be offered to others before being wasted. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please understand one. There is no waste if we do not waste. You may be surprised that not a single legislation in the world defines the term wasting. So it must be part of the framework. because wasting is the process in which a product or material of any kind, form, or volume become waste. In fact, wasting is a system failure and must be prevented first without any limitation or legal restriction. And please understand, wasting is not a feature of a product or material. It is a result of human behavior. And single use is one of the most common forms of wasting. We have to understand that permanent growth will not result in a successful global development. Because contrary to nature, our economists forgot that there is needed time to take the breath. And the growth is not scarcity or shortage. In fact, it respects the planetary limits because it does not reduce profitability. It reduces negative environmental impacts and fixes the broken social economical systems. It reduces the economic gaps and helps line up humans in and with nature. The growth contributes to personal development. You may ask why I tell you all of this. Let me show you one of the examples how Industry 5.0 principles has been used and utilized on a globe map or on a roadmap of Industry 5.0 itself. It was introduced on December 1st, 2015. In 2020, it was named the industrial trend of a decade. In 2022, the statement was changed to the global industrial trend of a century. In 2023, 2 months ago, 6 governments named industrial upcycling, named Industry 5.0, the crucial for the country development. In 2024, start trials with the companies and organizations which mislead the name of Industry 5.0 and use it as a sales tool. And at the end of the year, the formal content of the term Industry 5.0 will be coined in its original understanding. And in 2025, all governments in the world will include Industry 5.0 principles in their strategic development plans. And what happened in 2023? Globally, there was invested $5 billion in Industry 5.0 name project. The latest investment was done in France. It was 675 million euro invested by European Commission. A highest investment was 1.5 billion USD in Canada, and it was related to space industry. There are some names which maybe you will know. All these names announce that they will go into Industry 5.0 direction. Jaguar Land Rover, Airbus, Bosch, NVIDIA, Schneider Electric, Trinetsky Železárny, Nokia, and many, many others. The governments which adopted Industry 5.0 and start to aim it, it's Argentina, Indonesia, India, Nigeria. Generally in India, it's the state of Karnataka, Greece, European Union, and latest is Australia. There are built Industry 5.0 zones already in China, France, United Kingdom, and in Italy. The latest one in London was opened just last week. I have delivered myself webinars and keynotes on more than 500 universities. Why I show you all that? It is because all this development has been achieved without a single penny of investment by third party. No funding, no incentives, just the way how evolution is going, step by step. You may ask what will be the impact of Industry 5.0 on the main industry, so I prepared some overview defining the situation in which the industries are at the moment. Because all of them, or almost all of them, are in big troubles. The automotive say new cars production is down, significantly down. So what to do with it? Instead of producing new cars, the same factories can upgrade and upcycle the existing fleet. For the steel factory, the volumes are down, but with the new technologies, including 3D printing and systematic repurpose, the companies can be much more profitable than they have been before, even producing less of new products. Construction industry, 3D print is not a dream of a house, it's not a dream, it's a reality. And the modular housing should allow the repurposing. And banking? Banking will not make money on new debts, but it will help, and it must help to grow up national and personal surplus instead. And what about the other industries? In education, more curiosity and human build-up must be aimed. In the power industry, we must aim not only the construction of a new power station, but the reduction of power losses, which can reach up to 60% on the lines from producing place to consumption. The waste industry will no more be the third most profitable industry in the world. It must start to aim waste prevention where they never did before. And landfills will become the new official mines. Unfortunately, the war industry, it's strong enough to survive. But the difference will be that the unity and harmony of humans will make wars obsolete in the future. In the food industry, we can aim new production methods, consumption-driven, not volume-driven. Same for agriculture, because localization, hydroponic, aquaponic, and a lot of other new technologies will be implemented. Water needs to be reused, repurposed, and the waste of water wasting must be reduced significantly. And what about the research and development? Must come closer to industrial environment instead of standing in their own silos. All that will impact humans, because every society is created from individuals. And the one which does not ignores will be able to develop the unity and harmony, because the skills are much more important than the new AI or technology. Humans must be supported by the machines, but the machines should never rule their life. And it is important that the society understand that it is a part of global ecosystem. On our planet, we are living together with nature. And we have to acknowledge that and understand. Because if we do not do that, nature will be the one who will survive. Dear ladies and gentlemen, many of you have learned and have seen the world's most famous formula according to the Guinness Book of Records, E=mc². And many of you remember that it's connected to Albert Einstein, in fact 1905. And it is the theory of relativity. In Industry 5.0, we recognize that this formula is one of the on-the-ground minds. And because we are not physicists, we take it out of the physics and put it in an economy. And find out that Albert Einstein was right. Because economy consists of money times corruption squared. And this is what made us to live in a waste age. But the reason why I deliver this keynote to you today is because I would like to see wasteless Bangladesh soon. You maybe did not realize that Bangladesh is just 9 months older than I am myself. And I don't know if you remember, but on the March 26th, on the day when Bangladesh was born and when it's celebrated as a national day, in 1997, the GSM network was launched. So the next to come is that the government of Bangladesh, led by the Prime Minister, she will announce that Bangladesh will implement Industry 5.0 principles in its national development strategy, which will be the first step in turning Bangladesh into the first wasteless nation and country in the world, and to become the role model for all around. Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It's a new mindset of people and businesses, from wasteful to wasteless. It delivers results without the need of capital investment. And it's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, utilizing the rich on-the-ground mines. It's based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And please understand one, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a buzzword. It is already a new global ecosystem influencing the life of billions. Dear ladies and gentlemen, few years ago, our children has to change the way they learned and use digital tools instead of the physical presence. Our work was digitalized as well, and our leisure time, that was digitalized long time ago. So it looks like that the only thing which needs to be digitalized is human himself. But if we do digitalize human, our home will look like this. And that's not a mistake, because data don't need any light. I realized this fact back in 2010. And I decided I do not want to live on the bottom of a black hole and started to build another world, wasteless world instead. And don't worry, I'm not alone. My name is Michael Arada. I am human. And together with me, there are already 117 Industry 5.0 ambassadors helping to implement Industry 5.0 principles to 93% of global population. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for the most valuable asset you just gave to me, your time. And I would like you never to forget that the giants starts to shrink when the humans start to grow. Have a nice time, free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe and be free. Thank you.